Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The morning sun filtered gently through the windows of the Consuelos home, but the light felt colder than usual, quieter somehow, as though the world sensed the heaviness lingering in the air. Kelly Ripa sat at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a mug of untouched tea. The steam had faded long ago, leaving only the faint scent of chamomile. Upstairs, she could hear Mark Consuelos faintly moving around, coughing in a way that pierced her heart every time it echoed. For weeks now, he had brushed off the fatigue, the dizziness, the shortness of breath. Just a cold Kel, he had insisted. But Kelly knew her husband better than anyone, knew when he was hiding pain, which he often did for the sake of the family, or the show, or simply because he didn't like worrying others. But now, there was no hiding it. Not from her, not anymore. The previous afternoon had changed everything. They had been rehearsing the next day's segment for Live with Kelly and Mark when Mark suddenly froze mid-sentence. His hand drifted to his chest, and the color drained from his face. "Mark, are you okay?" Kelly asked, her voice caught between casual concern and rising panic. He tried to smile, but it was thin, strained, just a little lightheaded. "Skipped breakfast," he joked, waving a hand dismissively. But the way he swayed, just for a moment, didn't look like someone who missed a meal. Within minutes, the show's medic was rushing over, and Kelly's heart pounded as she watched Mark force himself to breathe steadily. "You need to get checked, now," she demanded, her voice trembling. Mark tried to protest, but one look into Kelly's eyes, teary, fearful, was enough for him to agree. And deep down, he knew she was right. The hours in the emergency room had felt endless. Kelly sat by his side, gripping his hand as tests were run, and doctors whispered in corners with grave expressions that did nothing to calm her. When the doctor finally walked in, Kelly braced herself, clutching Mark's hand even tighter. The doctor spoke gently, but every word hit her like a stone. "Mark, you're dealing with a serious inflammation around the heart. It's been developing for some time. You've likely been ignoring symptoms, and the stress could make it worse." Kelly felt everything inside her collapse at once. Her breath caught, tears stung her eyes. "How serious?" she managed to ask. "It's not life-threatening at the moment, but if untreated or aggravated, it could become dangerous. You need rest, real rest." Mark stared at the doctor as if he was being told to stop breathing. Rest was not something he was good at. "What does that mean for the show?" was his first question, always worried about letting people down. The doctor gave a firm look. "It means stepping away for a while." Kelly immediately placed her hand on Mark's chest, right over his heart, and whispered, "We'll manage. You just need to get better." But internally, she was breaking. The idea of Mark not by her side, not joking with her, not holding her hand during commercial breaks, terrified her. She needed him, not just as a co-host, not just as a husband, but as her person. That night, after they returned home, Kelly held herself together until Mark fell asleep. Only then did she step into the hallway, place a hand over her mouth, and cry silently. All the fear she had swallowed at the hospital poured out of her. She didn't know who she was trying to be strong for, Mark, the kids, the audience, but the weight was suffocating. Now, the morning after, Kelly heard footsteps approaching. She quickly wiped her cheeks, but Mark noticed anyway. "Hey," he said softly, pulling out the chair beside her. "You barely slept." Kelly tried to smile. "Neither did you." Mark reached across the table and took her hand. "Kel, I'm going to be fine. I just need to actually listen for once." "You scared me," she whispered, voice cracking. "Seeing you like that, hearing the doctor say the words, 'if aggravated.' Mark, I thought," she swallowed hard. "I thought something awful was going to happen." Mark squeezed her hand. "I'm not going anywhere." Tears welled again. Not loud, dramatic tears, but quiet, exhausted ones that came from the deepest place of love. Mark stood and wrapped his arms around her, holding her as she broke down. "I don't know what I'd do without you," she whispered into his chest. "And you won't have to find out," he murmured, pressing a kiss into her hair. Later that week, the show had to go on. Kelly arrived on set without Mark for the first time since they began co-hosting. The empty seat beside her felt like a missing limb. Producers offered a substitute guest host, but Kelly insisted on opening the show alone. When the cameras rolled, she greeted the audience with her bright, familiar smile, but her eyes gave her away. "I want to talk to you all about something personal," she said, voice wavering only slightly. "Mark is taking some time away to focus on his health. He's going to be okay, but he needs rest, and I hope you'll all send him your love." Her voice broke on the last words. She didn't bother to hide the tears. "This show, this chair, feels very different without him. But I know he'll be watching and yelling at the TV if I mess up." She laughed weakly through the tears. Audience members sniffled. Cameramen blinked away emotion. Social media exploded with messages of support. During the commercial break, Kelly stepped backstage, pressed a hand to her chest, and allowed herself a few seconds to breathe. She wasn't just doing a show, she was living through a moment she never expected, a glimpse of life without Mark at her side. And she hated it. At home, Mark sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching the show with glossy eyes. When Kelly cried on screen, he whispered, "Oh, sweetheart," wishing he could be there to hold her hand. But this time he had to rest. For her, for them. That night, as Kelly returned home, she curled up beside Mark, resting her head on his shoulder. "We're going to get through this," she whispered. Together, they sat in the quiet, holding onto each other, not as TV personalities, not as co-hosts, but as two souls deeply intertwined, facing a frightening chapter with love as their anchor. And in that silence, Kelly realized something. The crisis wasn't just a warning, it was a reminder. Life was precious. Mark was irreplaceable. And love, real love, was worth fighting for with every heartbeat. That night, after Kelly settled beside Mark on the couch, they stayed wrapped in a stillness that neither wanted to break. The low hum of the city outside their window was a reminder that the world kept spinning, even when their own felt frighteningly unsteady. After a long stretch of silence, Mark turned his head toward her. "You know what scared me the most?" he asked quietly. Kelly lifted her gaze to his, surprised by the tremor in his voice. "What?" "That look in your eyes when the doctor spoke. I've never seen you that afraid, and I never want to see it again." Kelly felt her throat tighten. "I wasn't afraid because of the diagnosis, Mark. I was afraid because for a moment, I thought I was listening to someone preparing me for a life without you." Mark cupped her cheek gently. "Hey, look at me." She met his eyes, and he continued softly, "I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving our kids. I'm not finished living this life with you. But maybe," he exhaled slowly, "maybe I need to learn how to slow down so I can keep living it." Kelly nodded as tears escaped again, not from fear this time, but from relief that he finally understood the stakes. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates.